Is anybody here with me in the Hoia Baciu Forest? I'm in the dead zone. I'm completely alone. I am inside what is supposedly the most haunted forest on earth. This is the Hoia Baciu. We are in Transylvania, in northern Romania, and this is a bucket list location of mine crossed off. On the outskirts of Transylvania's largest city, Cluj-Napoca sits a 250-acre forest, steeped in mystery and shrouded in legend. The word Transylvania literally translates as across the forest, and this is the area's most infamous. A quick Google search will tell you that the Hoia Baciu is the most haunted forest in the world. Strange activity from ghostly sightings, UFOs, balls of light, odd magnetic activity and mysterious disappearances have captured the world's attention as it became infamous as the ultimate paranormal hotspot, even attracting some of the largest paranormal TV shows on Earth. To understand why this forest is so historical and special, well, the oldest known settlement in Romania existed on the north side of the forest, dating back over 8,500 years. A village known as Hoia Baciu, likely one of the earliest settlers in the whole of Europe. One legend in this area talks about a battle that took place close to here when the valley was invaded by another tribe. Women and children were marched into a nearby forest and forced to make a clearing, then made to dig their own graves before being beheaded. I spoke to a local tour guide who was aware of the legend but didn't know if it was true or not. But in the 1960s and in the 1990s, several excavations here found the remains of houses, weapons, and an ancient burial site with some skeletons showing evidence of blunt trauma, matching the area beside the forest mentioned in the legend. The forest has become known for a series of mysterious disappearances. Even its name translates into English as shepherd, after a local legend tells of a shepherd taking 200 of his own sheep into this forest, to never being seen again after trying to find a meadow amongst all of the trees. An even darker story talks of a young girl called Maria, aged around 5, from the nearby village, who seemed to be lured into the forest whilst her mother was hanging up washing in the garden, completely unaware. She never returned, and after days of searching she was presumed dead, until one day, about 5 years after the disappearance, she walked out of the forest, lost and disorientated. She had believed she was only missing for a few hours and had no idea that she had been gone for so long. I'm skeptical of both of these stories, but locals here insist they are true. Local folklore is one thing, but if you've watched any of my other videos, walking in the footsteps of Vlad Dracula, you'll know that this is a country where the local legends turn out to be more accurate than the modern day interpretations. This is what is known as the Dead Zone. It is a perfect round clearing in the forest where it is said that no vegetation will grow, visible from satellite, as well as maps over 500 years old. Experts have taken soil samples from this area and cannot find any reason why things can't grow, such as chemical imbalances or radiation. And yet it's not just some plot of land where trees just haven't been planted. From the ground, it's a perfectly circular line, where the trees just end. And the trees surrounding this mysterious circle are, well, deformed. They bend and twist in unusual ways that have baffled experts for years. So this is it. This is the round circle. The dead zone, whatever you want to call it. They say nothing grows in the dead zone, and I know people go, well, it's grass, and other content creators have said that, as I hear noise over to my left hand side. Yeah, grass does grow, and yeah, down here we see that we have flowers growing, but people will say, well, is there some sort of like boundary where trees just won't grow? Well, I'll show you what it's like. So the grass is short in the middle. This is September time, I'm out here, and as you get sort of out of the dead zone, the grass stops. You can see soil, it's the path, and then the trees, they kind of stop in a line, and their leaves overhang. But people have been and taken soil samples, and they can't explain it. And like I say, this is shown up on maps that are over 400 years old, this circle in the middle of the forest, so I can't explain it. To make it even more mysterious, these trees are only found directly beside the dead zone. People believe there is some kind of energy at play here, an unexplained phenomena, causing this forest to defy science. Skeptics have suggested an unproven theory that during World War I, this clearing was used as a firing range, and stray bullets being lodged in trees have caused them to grow in an unusual way. This has not been proven, and no bullets have ever been found in the forest. Some weird trees. I mean, look at that. Trees don't do that. If the World War I theory and that it's got a bullet lodged in it somewhere is true, then that might explain it. But the strange thing, and I'm just about to show you, there's another one. It's sort of curved, like a big snake, right up. That's the dead zone on the other side. And look at this. So right around the dead zone, you can see that's the grass on the other side. Look, you can see that these, it's like, there's plenty of space between trees here. And then look at how just before the dead zone, there's like a row of trees. Just on the edge of the dead zone. How weird's that? And then there's the photos from this circular area. UFOs have been pictured directly above it on multiple occasions. The forest began to draw wider attention in the 1960s, when a military technician called Emil Barnier photographed a UFO directly above the forest, and more importantly, above the dead zone. He went public with what he photographed, and was immediately sacked from the army by Romania's communist government at the time. People started flocking to the forest. Another man, Alexandru Sift, referenced hearing children giggling as he approached the dead zone, and immediately felt as if he was being followed, before feeling unwell. He took a series of photographs, which later showed a UFO supposedly above the forest, which he claimed was not visible with his own eyes at the time. When Alexandru died in the 1990s, his apartment was broken into, and the only things stolen were the original photographs of the UFO, which have never been found since. And don't go thinking that the strange disappearances happened many years ago. A group of friends in the 2000s became separated, with one woman being lost for hours. The rest of the group found her confused and disorientated inside the dead zone. She believed she'd only been gone for 2 minutes, and then, to make things even stranger, she found a coin inside her pocket, dated more than 500 years old, which she claimed was not there before. A psychic once said that she felt a mass burial site within the forest existed, but that there was so much negativity coming from it that she couldn't get close to it. Some talk about an ancient curse on the forest which has affected people for thousands of years. Yet all of the stories and mysteries of this forest keep bouncing back to one place: that dead zone. Due to the forest's infamous reputation, local tour guides bring dark tourists here, and there have been reports of people fainting, feeling disorientated, and severe panic attacks. Some have reported hearing voices of their own family members talking from the other side, leading to speculation that there is some kind of portal here, or a thin veil to the other world. Or maybe this could be the forest's evil way of trying to lure people inside. A strange woman has been seen by several people too, again close to the dead zone, and she is said to scream in complete darkness. People talking in the distance is also a regular thing that people hear. Some, brave enough to have camped inside the forest, have described hearing horses galloping and dark shadows darting between the trees. But the most mysterious thing is said to be the lights, witnessed by almost anybody that comes in here at dark, even in daytime hours too. One local told the TV show Ghost Adventures that there is a red light that chases him in the forest. The show would go on to capture a red light between the trees whilst filming. The glowing light appeared to be inside the forest too, as it was illuminating the trees around it. The nerves hit as I got my first view of my home for the next 2 days and 2 nights. I'm staying in a small chalet on the edge of the Hoia Baciu Forest. I've been warned that the Hoia Baciu is home to potential dangers too: venomous snakes, wild boar, and just weeks before I filmed here, a girl was attacked by stray dogs. It became apparent I'd also need to get used to things being a little bigger than back home in the UK.
What on earth? I've never seen anything that big, insect-wise.
I decided to bring some local snacks with me to eat too.
New feature on Dead Air when we go abroad: finding food that you don't get back in the UK. And I've gone for these rum bars. I think they're like their version of Cadbury's. They do like different sorts. But I'm gonna have some rum bars.
Before I start, why not give the channel a like and a subscribe? I visit supposedly haunted locations from around the world to try and document these hauntings. Subscribe to the channel to see some of the other places that I've also been to. So my plan: night 1 I'll bring you along for a look around and to get my bearings while it's still light, and then night 2 I'll come in after dark and spend a full night ghost hunting with some of the equipment. Don't forget to use the chapters along the timeline to navigate through the video.
I wasn't even supposed to be recording this bit. Already, something, I probably fell out of that tree, but it felt like it was chucked at me, like an acorn or something. It landed literally about 2 feet from me, and there, this is stuff falling out of the tree. But for a second, I thought something got thrown at me. This place is intense once you get into it. I'm following GPS, which is going all over the place. There you go. This way. It's just noises everywhere. Look at that tree, it's bent completely over. It's it's made like an entire bridge across the path, and there's one ahead. It's snapped and it's actually blocking the whole path. The thing is, my sat-nav is now saying I'm on the path. Yet before, I think the GPS is absolutely messed up in here. It's literally telling me to go this way, and then like it's changing the route. Other people who've been in here have also said they've had GPS problems, and that could be just because we're in a remote. I think that's a bird. Other people who've been in here have said that the GPS goes and you're literally trying to find a certain spot in the forest, and it becomes near impossible. It's the best way to go around this. Something's crawling on me. Right. Now it's telling me, it's telling me to go straight. So, yeah, everyone has this on their bucket list. If you're a paranormal enthusiast, you need to come to the Hoia Baciu, because this is essentially like the place. I'm just stopping every few minutes. I know it's holding my time up, my ETA, when I'm supposed to arrive at the dead zone, but it's just noise. There's so many noises in this forest. I know it's all natural. The good thing about it is you can see for miles, because the trees are so thin and narrow. You can see. It's just there was someone behind me or someone else in this wood, I would see them like well in advance. Now people talk about the lights that you see in this forest. Loads of people have seen them. YouTubers that have been in here, Ghost Adventures, that came in here, I've got them on film. And a lot of people say, oh, it's just because you're on the outskirts of a big city, you're on the outskirts of Cluj, which is true. But if you saw from the video and the drone shot, this is on a hill. We are essentially like above ground level. This place goes up and up. It's on like a little plateau. So if it was some sort of light shining through, it would have to be above the ground. I'm on edge because I know there's no bears in here, but you know, in my luck, this will be the day when the first ones move in. So let's go further up, and I'll join you a little bit further in.
I reach a point in the forest where the interference on my device distorts the audio, and the GPS tries to take me in a completely opposite direction.
So I'm literally following the map that loaded when I set it up before. That means if I don't get signal by the time I get to the middle, I've got no way of using GPS to get out. That could be an issue because there's a labyrinth of little paths in here, and I don't know where each one goes. So it could just be a case of just aborting the mission when it gets too dark, and then coming back tomorrow night and memorising the route during the daytime. But as of now, I'm on an emergency. I'm being attacked by things that are buzzing. I'm sweating. My back is soaking. Of all the places where you can't get a bloody signal.
With my GPS now pretty much useless, I'm making my way towards what I believe to be the centre of the forest, and that's when I notice these lights darting between the trees. Now on camera it probably doesn't look like much, but from the naked eye they were sort of moving in a strange dancing motion. Now look at the canopy, you can still see it's daylight outside of the forest, so I'm ruling out people walking around with torches because, well, you wouldn't need one. The lights move, so you can rule out buildings as well. People have suggested possibly fireflies, but it feels like I'm too far away to see something that's an insect. And these are white lights. However, I convince myself it must be some kind of car lights in the distance. even though I'm on the plateau of a hill. I did speak to some teenagers earlier on in the evening as I was coming into the forest, and we got chatting, and they confirmed to me that there was nobody else in the forest. I captured some B-roll footage camera shots for my video whilst I still had some light, and then around an hour later, these strange lights returned, this time in a different direction.
I'm seeing lights, but I think they're from the city.
I will come back to these lights later in the video to try and offer my own thoughts.
I'm trying my best to not use much light from this point on, because I think I know this path well enough. I can use my night vision to see where I'm going on it. Hello, is anybody here with me? Let's try and get some readings on the EMF meter. Turn the GPS off on my phone again, just so I can get some fair baseline readings. So there you go, that's that one there's just the Wi-Fi phone, but we've turned that off now. Got more markings on the tree. EMF it got something there. So ignore the first two spikes. It picked up a third, but it's not the camera. The camera doesn't interfere with it. But we are getting something in here, and we shouldn't be, because we are literally, not close enough to anyone's phone. There's no overhead power cables, but the wind is gone as well, so it's awfully silent in here. Is there anybody in here that would like to communicate with me? I've heard that there's a female spirit that comes and has been known to chase people. People have heard her shrieking. If that is you, I'm seeing lights, but again, it could be city. There is an illusion. I think it's an optical illusion where people are seeing some kind of city lights. But you shouldn't be, like through there. I don't know if you can see them on this camera. I'm going to try and zoom in. I think because this is on a plateau, but part of it is on the side of a hill, so it creates this false illusion that you're sort of not looking at it. You're like looking above everything, but then you're seeing, because you're looking down diagonally into the neighbouring towns and districts around here. I think that could be what people are seeing. I don't know. I need to get the geography of this place, and I need to properly get the drone in the sky and have a little look around. But again, look, we're getting signal. We shouldn't be. My phone is on flight mode. You saw me turn it off. And this would say cell phone if it was. So again, it's picking. We're getting unusual things. Ignore me while I clatter around. Oh, stuff all around me. Stuff all around me. Just noises. It's stuff falling out of trees. I am currently on the furthest west of this forest, so it's technically the furthest away from civilization, from people. So we shouldn't be getting any interference from city lights and things like that, but we never know. Let's see what we get.
I record a piece to camera and actually capture a light behind me without realising it. This is concerning if this is the same phenomena as before, as I'm now in the deepest part of the forest and that direction has no civilization behind it.
Here I'll light up some noises coming from over here. It was like a little clatter before. Is there somebody down here with me? Hello? Now I need to go which way? Oh, look at this tree. I keep talking about disformed trees. It's running straight ahead. It just fell over. I've arrived at the dead zone. Oh, someone's had a fire. There were some guys here earlier on. I think they have left their fire, which is fair enough, gives me some sort of direction and some light. And some warmth as well. It's starting to get a little bit chilly. So this is it. This is the famous dead zone here in the Hoia Baciu Forest. That fire is going to gently burn itself out. Let's take some pictures while I'm here. Flash on. Flash. Is there anybody here with me in the Hoia Baciu Forest? I'm in the dead zone. I'm completely alone. Now some say this is created from a UFO. Some say that this is the spot where hundreds of people were beheaded from a tribe that were led into here and slaughtered. Whichever one. Some say it's just completely natural and it's just purely the way the forest has formed. It's been like this for hundreds of years. But whatever you think the reason, I mean, let me just show you. People will say, well, how come there's grass? Yeah, there's grass here, I can see that. But other YouTubers have said, well, yeah, the grass doesn't grow any higher than this. It's not like someone has to come and cut the grass. It does get a little bit rougher towards the edges. So I'm just going to put my light on just so I can see where I'm walking, because I don't want to stand on anything. It gets longer. If you look here, look, longer grass, shorter grass. But then if we just go to the edge of the dead zone, you can see there's literally nothing to stop trees from growing. It just literally goes soil and then it stops. Now I've watched other people when Ghost Adventures came here and they arrived in the dead zone. Obviously they had a bit of drama. Zach was getting the feelings. I'm not feeling anything. I'm feeling totally fine. And I've even got an experiment for that. I'm going to use my watch. Sounds from over there. What am I feeling? What's my BPM? Bear in mind I've walked about a mile to get here. 71, so that's quite normal. Let's measure my stress. Just going on my hand. I thought I heard noises over there before. A plane is flying overhead, we can hear it. Probably flying into Cluj-Napoca airport. There we go. I wonder if they're looking down and seeing this fire and thinking there's somebody in the dead zone in Hoia Baciu. Right, what are we getting for stress? Come on, tell me. 81 high. Okay. Well, my heart rate's quite low. As you hear the fire crackle and pop. Yeah, people do come here. I was expecting people to be here tonight because this is a popular place where people will come and camp. People have camped here, other YouTubers have camped here. Again, lights through there. Don't think it's showing on night vision. In the dead zone with the ghost gypsy app open. What is that forming? What is that forming? It's like it's something in a forest. Whoa! That's a witch, no? It's got a forest. What on earth is that? I'm hearing noises everywhere. That is definitely a witch. That is definitely a witch. That is so strange. People will come here and do witchcraft, you know they will. You absolutely know they will. I completed my challenge for night 1. I trekked back out of the forest to my accommodation, and straight away, the GPS was mixed up. I think I'm going the right way. Only time will tell. What is that? Oh, it's a bit of paperback. I thought it was snake skin at first. I thought that was snake skin. Am I going the right way? No. I'm supposed to be going this way. I think this is the way. This is the way to freedom on my first night inside the Hoia Baciu Forest in Transylvania. Walk through here. Now I'm going the long way back, but that's just because I've been... Look at all these trees. Look at them. What is that? Someone's left a cap. Clothes just dangling from the trees. That's what I see. Complete darkness other than my headlamp or my torch. I decided to look at some of the mysterious photos that have been sent to me from the Hoia Baciu Forest. The first one, I mean, I don't know what that is. Without any context of depth, height, you can't really tell, but you can see 3 shapes. Each has got 3 lights on the front, maybe something on the top. Again, it looks like something you'd see out the deep sea. One of those, you have to go down in a submarine right to the very depths to see these weird fish with lights and stuff. I don't know what that is.
That's been taken in the dead zone. You can tell there's the grass around it, the tree line, and then you've got this, looks like a ring, like a bubble ring that floats up. I'm not sure what that is, whether it's legitimate or not. Apparently these photographs have been checked and there's been nothing interfering with the negatives or tampering, so whatever he's photographed, that was there. Whether he's chucked something up in the air, like there's a couple like that where something looks like it could just be an object thrown up in the air, and you take a lot of American UFOs in the 1950s and 60s were faked doing that way. That looks like a cow when you first look at it, but then you look at it closer and you realise it looks like something out of a lava lamp. And then you've got, I mean, look at the tree line. It looks more in focus than the actual leaves on that tree. But it doesn't look like a spaceship. It looks like a malfunction. That's the best UFO shot. But again, could that be a comet? And he's put that on long exposure and it's got this light trail coming down. I don't even know which side of the forest that was taken, because that's not the side I've been looking at. That could be the south side of the forest. This is the infamous head in the grass. At first I thought it was photoshopped. Obviously Photoshop didn't exist 30, 40 years ago. And you can see there's a twig going in front of his head. But the more you look at it, I noticed a lot of these little craters when I was in the forest earlier on. Like where trees being pulled up and it's just ripped all the roots up and it's left like what looks like a big bomb crater. That's somebody stood in one of them. Look at you can see his shoulders. You can see that he's standing. Obviously it's in black and white, so you can't see the different textures between the ground and inside the crater. That's someone standing in a crater. You can see his shoulders, he's wearing a coat. That's an interesting one, but I think again that's the flash has gone off on the camera. It's reflected back. Those little rectangle things, that could just be bits of paper that's been thrown down. You can see one of them on the bottom right that's got a twig in front of it, so we know it's not photoshopped or anything like that, but has someone just chucked some paper? Because it looks like A4 paper, doesn't it? And I don't know what that blue stuff is. Smoke, maybe? I don't know. Another UFO shot. Again, they look like little things at the bottom of the sea, like jellyfish.
For my second night, I would walk around the north side of the forest, where an ancient village and burial area have been found, making my way to the dead zone before walking through the heart of the forest and back out again. This is the area where stray shepherd dogs are often reported, so I need to be careful.
You join me for night 2 of my adventure here into the Hoia Baciu Forest in Transylvania, Romania. I've come in a different way this time. Last time I came in sort of via the northeast entrance to the forest. Tonight I've come around the north. Basically if you were lazy and you were coming in by car, this is the area where there had been an old settlement about 8,000 years ago. I haven't been to this part of the forest yet. I've only been to the eastern side and the south side, so this is my first time in this part of the forest. So we'll see what we can find. There might be other people in here, we don't know. I could hear voices when I was walking along the bottom before, and I don't know where those people have gone. So yeah, there could be other people in here. It's currently still boiling, hence t-shirt weather. So it's still like in the 20s, annoyingly. Which means even though I've got like long jeans on to protect myself from bites and things, I'm absolutely sweating already and I'm not even started. So, let's go. So I've got a few bits of kit with me in the bag. I've got the thermal imaging camera, and I've got the full spectrum camera tonight, which is brand new. First time I've used it on a paranormal investigation, so I'm going to give that a go. I'm in the dead zone again. This is where I've made my way. I'm not going to stay in this spot. I think a lot of people come here and they just focus on this one particular section of the wood, but I just got to come here and just do a few experiments. So I've got the thermal imaging camera, and I don't know if you can hear it. I mean, a plane has just flown over. I'm going to go and stand here. You can hear music. Now this is coming from the town nearby. I'm going to be quiet and let you have a listen. You can hear crickets, obviously. Can you hear that? I think there's some kind of event on, because it's still sort of late evening. It's after 9 PM, so there's probably some sort of concert on, or someone's performing somewhere. But you can hear the noise travels into this forest from miles away. But I do believe I'm the only person in the forest. When I was walking in, there was a couple of cyclists went past and then came back, and then I entered the forest, so they're not in here. If there's any spirits in this forest, the Hoia Baciu Forest, show yourself to me. You can still hear that music. Now obviously I'm not going to stop and wait for it. That could go on that could be on for another couple more hours, but we can still continue investigating. So I've done a little bit of Googling while I've been out here. I'm just sitting here totally chilled in the dead zone. This is a concert, and it's actually 1.9 miles away, and the sound is travelling. Obviously we're on the side of a hill. It's going to be windy. We're on the side of a hill, so we are going to just get the sound that's going to travel straight across the valleys, and it's going to hit the side of this hill. But again, that's a good thing, because look at how sound travels and how it messes with people's minds. People think they hear horses and stuff out here in the middle of the forest. Now, I mean, you could bring a horse through here. There is actually a horse riding school stables not too far from here. So again, you've got to look at how sound travels and how we can maybe hear things and see things, but I'm assuming you can hear all that. It's like a brass band playing, and they're actually in Cluj-Napoca, which is like, that shows you how the sound is travelling out of the city into the rural areas like this. Makes you wonder what other things like infrasound and things like that could be travelling and totally messing with people's minds. But what we can do, we can move to another part of the forest in a second and see what we can pick up there, because it's not just around the dead zone where stuff happens, but we'll get the full spectrum camera out.
I run the thermal imaging camera in the dead zone to see if I can capture any anomalies, or even just to let me see if there were any large animals nearby. But nothing showed up.
So if you've never seen the full spectrum camera before, it is going to take pictures in the full spectrum. I'm going to just turn the IR light away. One. It sounds like you can hear it coming from all over. It's coming from that direction there, and also from that direction. That's presumably how sound travels. Let's take another one. Oh, there's a flash of light there, to my right.
After looking through these full spectrum pictures, there are some flashes of light visible in a few shots. These don't look like orbs, in which many people believe to be refracted light or dust particles or even bugs. These are like circular balls with their own source of light in the trees and around the dead zone. I've been using full spectrum cameras now for a while, and I find these very peculiar, especially as in the footage I believe I'd seen the flash of light just seconds before one of these pictures was taken.
I mean, I'm going to do a call out session as well, because they do say that spirits are present in this wood, in this forest, mainly in the guise of there's a woman apparently who haunts this forest. People have heard her scream. So, you know, we are looking at ghosts in here as well. Let's just see if we can get anything. Is anyone in here with me that can show yourself? It's gone very quiet in here. Should we do some full spectrum stuff? Get the full spectrum camera out. Take a few photos of just up there. Into the trees as well. Some people who were saying that people were saying that apparently some of the UFO stuff that's been caught on camera above this forest wasn't visible to the naked eye. Others say that it was, and that's why they took the photos. But I'm going to start using a more spectrum photography. You can see there on my camera. Just shoot away. They say that if there is such things as ghosts and spirits, and they're sometimes visible and sometimes they're not, it's because they're on a different light frequency to what we can see. Just adjusting things. Which I totally get it. Light is, well, you know how the light spectrum works. Let's take a shot in there. I'm not even using my GPS, it's just pointless. It just keeps going. It just keeps going. So you're seeing the flash on the infrared camera because I'm using night vision, which uses infrared spectrum light. So the full spectrum light, this is basically got to do a big shout out to Andy from Infrareddy. He made this camera for me. It's a modified Sony camera. What is that? It's not windy, so there shouldn't really be stuff getting blown out of trees, but you never know. There's just stuff like dropping out of trees. I came in here earlier on today and I actually got hit on the hand when I was taking some pictures on the hand that was holding the phone. Like an actual like thing out of a tree, like a acorn. It's like a cricket or something. Landed and hit me on the thumb. It was quite painful. It fell obviously from the height of one of these trees.
After taking more full spectrum shots in the forest, I actually capture the moment the flash captures a piece of light. However, when you slow the footage down and zoom in a little, you can see that this is nothing more than just the light refracting off a spider's web.
Let's take some more pictures. So I was in two minds what equipment to bring. I can only bring so much with me in the suitcase and when I'm out in the woods. I can't bring the entire case of paranormal stuff because it just wouldn't be able to carry it. I would need like other people. So I thought, well, let's move away from like the EVP side of things because we're in Romania, so they're not going to understand me and I'm not going to understand them. We need visual stuff. People see lights in here, people see shadow figures, people see a woman in here apparently. So we need visual stuff, so I've gone with the cameras, I've gone with the flare, so we can find animals and we can hopefully see if there's an animal that's making noise as a way of debunking it. And I've also got the full spectrum camera, which is about to take a picture now. Someone please show yourself if you're here. Noises to the right.
Interestingly, for the second time in the night, I hear a noise and quickly snap a full spectrum picture with the lights in them. We can even slow this one right down and you can see there is nothing that can be reflecting in my infrared light back, yet the full spectrum light camera can see two balls of light. A simple light refraction of something? Or does this prove the presence of something paranormal?
Well, for the first time in days I'm wearing a jacket. I had to get my jacket out of my bag because it is starting to get a bit nippy out here. The temperature's just started to drop. Still in the Hoia Baciu. I found like a little area where there's like little hills and stuff. I'll turn the camera around and let you see. Just a little venture in. It's really late now. There's no music. Whatever that concert was that was on earlier on, it has stopped. Just going up this little hill. Trees up here. In night they look so bare and skinny. I'm getting attacked by mosquitoes. Oh. Oh. It's like a little clearing. Let's do some stuff up here. So cold. It's so quiet as well. Some stuff. People have left some stuff. Someone's had a fire going up here. I wonder how many people come up here and do some pretty dark stuff. I'm talking satanic stuff. This place attracts everybody like that. Is anybody here with me? I can hear dogs barking in the distance. We are at the very north part of Hoia Baciu. You heard that right. I just want to be entirely honest with you. This is the part where I've started to feel a bit uneasy. You'll notice, I don't know if you've been watching all the way through or you've skipped any of the video, there's been no birds. You hear the odd little bird, but whatever caused that to make a crash, that was a bit of wood smashing. It was not near, it was quite maybe through the other side of those trees. Someone here with me? Hello? I'm honestly not even worried about animals now. I am in Transylvania in a forest. And I'm... Whoa, what was that? Was that a bat? Did you see that? I don't know if that came out, something flew around me. I think that was a bat. And I've just talked about Transylvania. That was a bat. I don't know if that went in front of the camera or whether I just picked that up in my torchlight. But a bat went straight across. I hope you saw that. I don't know if you did. But it did a full circle of me. Can anything be even more creepier than that bat in Transylvania? You couldn't write that yourself, could you? Can someone make a footstep near me if you're here? I'm in the most haunted forest in the world. I'm vulnerable. There's no humans around. You would see that torchlight if there were. One thing I'm going to say, after doing this trip, there is no forest in the world that I am going to be scared of ever going into. Back home, down the woods, yeah, it's bringing on. I've done the Hoia Baciu. After doing this trip, there is no forest in the world that I am gonna be scared of ever going into. We are at the very north part of Hoia Baciu. You heard that right. There's someone watching me. I just feel like you're being watched. All of a sudden, it's gone from being these woods aren't scary to suddenly it's just full on. You feel it. I think maybe the temperature has had a bit of a thing in my head. It's got cooler all of a sudden. The music stopped in the background. It's just me in the forest. You hear the odd dog barking away somewhere in the distance. There's not even any planes going over anymore. There's not even any birds singing. You know, and sometimes back home you'll hear like squawking, and like when you walk through somewhere and you'll disturb some wildlife, it's just too silent in here. Is there anybody here with me? Got a thermal imaging camera going and a moth attacking my left hand. If there's any animals, you'd see them on this. Something made a noise down there. That looks like something hiding behind that tree. It's not, but just there. Hear that? That's wolves. There's actually, that was like a howl. It might not be, but there are stray dogs in these woods, so I've got to be extremely careful. It was in local Romanian news earlier this year. Someone told me on the south side of the forest there were some stray dogs that belonged to a, well, they're not strays, but they're kind of feral dogs, but they're used by a lot of shepherds. Use them. There's still a lot of shepherds out here in Romania. Like, I've never met a shepherd before. Like, in the UK, we just don't, you know, it's farmers, isn't it? But they do have shepherds out here. It's a bit steep. I'm wondering if I should just get out of this area. Like, so the story that was in the news earlier this year was a little girl and her family, and they were walking in the daytime, and a stray dog attacked the little girl, and she was quite badly bitten by this dog. So they can be quite aggressive. They're quite territorial. One thing I've never ever told you, there's a noise down there. I'm starting to get a bit used to it now. One thing I haven't actually ever talked about on the Dead Air channel was in 2021 I went to Greece. I went to Athens to make a video, and I went to Socrates prison, which is on the side of a hill just on the outskirts of Athens. Sort of overlooks the Acropolis, and I was going to do a video from Greece. No one, you know, there's no paranormal stuff ever comes out of Greece, so I thought I'll get over there and I'll do it. And I went up this hill at night, and stray dog straight ahead of me, so I just pegged it. I was like, no, you've got to walk up this little zigzaggy path to get to the summit. And I got about 3/4 of the way up, and there was a dog. I could hear the barking before I got there. And I saw this dog staring. It was like here to like one of those trees away from me, and I just, instead of going down the zigzags, I went straight down, and I looked, and it was also doing the same thing, and eventually it gave up. But I was a bit unsure whether to go back and try it again. I just couldn't go back up there. So there was a failed Dead Air video from Athens that never saw the light of day because it never got made, because there was stray dogs where I wanted to be. So yeah, Well guys, civilization and flies still. An actual road with that tarmac. Oh, feels so good to be finally out of the forest. Please, if you love ghost hunting and you want to follow more of the Dead Air stuff, like and subscribe. Lots of videos on there. We've done 5 years worth on YouTube. The podcast is on Spotify as well, where we talk everything paranormal. Might as well turn this off because I'm coming into light. Yeah, for those who maybe found the Hoia Baciu video, because Hoia Baciu's it's a massive internet thing to look for, get over onto the Dead Air Facebook page. We've been to loads of haunted places around the world. Chillingham Castle, you name it. Paris, the Devil's House in Tallinn, all sorts of places. Norway, and plenty more to come. Wow, look at that. So I've just been Hoia Baciu, Romania. Romania, what a country as well. It's, look at the size of that slug. It's not even really raining. I thought they only come out when it's raining. I'm going to put my foot next to it just to show you the scale of how big that slug is. It's massive. You can hear voices. It's nice to actually hear humans again. So yeah, like and subscribe to Dead Air. Lots of ghost hunting coming up on the channel. Lots of ghost hunting on there. There's 5 years worth of videos to go and enjoy from all over the UK and beyond, in some of the most haunted places. We get in there, just me and my camera, and I like to film. So yeah, until next time, I'm back at the Airbnb.
Hello, just a quick one from me. I thought I'd jump on the end of the video and see if we can debunk or even go over some of this, because the Hoia Baciu Forest is a place that attracts people from all over the world who go out there, and I think there's a lot of misconceptions about it. A lot of TV shows have maybe exaggerated things, and a lot of content creators go out there to get a lot of clicks on videos and stuff, and they jump on the fame of this forest. And I just want to be open and honest about it and give my own version of what I genuinely thought. It's an incredible place. I loved it out there. I had the time of my life because I'm into all this kind of stuff. The stories were incredible. Stories, yeah, I think there's a lot of folklore involved. I think a lot of the disappearances and things like that are maybe stories that have been told over the years and have been passed down. There's definitely no sort of credible articles documenting some of these disappearances, but you know, in the UK, we would have dismissed that as a legend. Over there, it's kind of like folklore's a big thing. Maybe that's why this forest has built up such a reputation. But the first thing, the elephant in the room, I want to address the lights, because that's what threw me probably the most while I was out there. Now, I get everyone out there watching this video is thinking, those are car lights that you're looking at. Those are car lights. And yeah, I was sure that that's what people are seeing out there. But I think when you're there, it's different. So 99.9% certain that I was seeing car lights as well while I was in the forest. But then you go and investigate it. So I went out the forest and got some shots to look for where these lights could be coming from. And yes, there's a little town at the bottom of the valley. It's 2 miles away from the forest. Is that light from 2 miles away entering the forest that bright? It moved. So that rules out buildings. So it's definitely something that's moving, like a car or a person holding a light. There was nobody else in the forest at that point. I can verify that because A, they would have turned up somewhere, and B, some of these were in daylight when you wouldn't have had a torch on, because you can see the path, you can see where you're going. You wouldn't have walked around with a torch.
so I can rule people out straight away. I was there, I know that. You look around then at where some of this car light could be coming from. The first thing I need to mention, the dead zone. This graphic shows it's not in the middle of the forest, it's towards the south of the forest. It's about 186 meters from the edge of the forest, and that's the direction I was seeing the first set of lights from. So whatever light is coming through, it's got to go through 186 meters of trees, plus whatever else on the outskirts of the forest. And then you start trying to think, well, this forest is on a hill. It's not on the side of a hill, it's on the plateau. It's quite a level surface, this forest. And then it's got a slope coming down, then civilization. That light was on the same eye level, the same ground level as me. That was not coming from down. And we know it's on a building, so it's not some tall block of flats, because buildings don't move. So you start to look around, and you start to look at roads around the place. And luckily Google Earth, the Street View car, has been around there, so we can start to work it out. So you start to look at this. This is the houses that are in the valley. You can see the Hoia Baciu Forest is on top of that hill. The spot I was stood at was on the top of that hill, and then 186 meters further in. So I'm not seeing light from here. I'm not seeing the glow of light, because this is a direct ball of light. It's direct light. And we all know light isn't going to bend around like that, unless there's some weird phenomenon going. Now this is a quiet residential area with 1 or 2 cars are going to go past. That dog probably barks at everyone that goes past it. Then you look in the background, there's another hill. It's got a forest on it. That's about 4 miles away. And yes, that's probably the same eye level, the same height level as where I am in the Hoia Baciu. But there's no roads up there, there's no cars up there. Okay, there might be people up there. Could a light from inside that forest be shone into the Hoia Baciu Forest that bright and that direct? No, it's not. So we're ruling that out. It's not coming from that forest over there, and it's not coming from this area of housing, because the angle's wrong. Then you start to look at the roads, like this little rural road here. You can see it's like an agricultural dirt track. Let's have a look. But straight away, when we can't even see the Hoia Baciu Forest, I'm looking around and I'm seeing the hills from the other side, but that's the direction that the Hoia Baciu Forest, it's on the other side of that little hill there. So straight away, it's not coming from this road, because you can see that cars, well, they're not even facing the forest. So then you start to look at maybe things further away. This is the outskirts of Cluj-Napoca. It's a large city in Transylvania. You can see the Hoia Baciu Forest in the distance on the top of that hill right at the background. You can see the side of the hill. You can't really see into the forest though. That's the problem. For that light to be that bright, it needs to be shining into the forest. I don't think you could do that from here. It would just be distant light from this point of view. Then I spotted this on Google Earth. This was interesting. So a couple of miles away, on the other side of the river, there's what looks like a shopping centre, like a shopping mall. So there'll be lots of cars there. And around about 8, 9 p.m, 10 p.m, people would be leaving. The shops would be closed. Could there be like a road or part of the car park where people are queuing to get out? And that's the light I'm seeing. And then you look at Google Street View, which goes into this car park, and we flip it round and we look at the Hoia Baciu Forest there on the top of that hill in the very background. We're still very low. Could a car that's leaving this car park and maybe is coming out of that roundabout be shining that bright into that forest on the top of that hill and then getting the light even further in? It's possible. Then we look at the side of the hill. So this is like a 360 image that someone's put on Google Earth.
We can see the forest there. We spin it round and we see there's a road. There's a road there. You can see the town in the background. In my opinion, that town is too far away. It's a couple of miles away. I don't think the light is going to be that bright when it arrives. It's too low for a start. Could there be cars driving up this road that are shining into the forest? Well, we have a look. This is it. This is it. And we see straight away we are very low down. The forest is on the top of that hill. Don't forget, the spot I'm looking at is from the dead zone, which is 186 more meters over the brow of that hill. Is it lights from this road that I'm seeing? I don't know. I want to say it is, because I want to debunk it. But this rural road in the countryside, to be getting that much light, that amount of car lights coming through, I don't know. I don't know. I can see why the locals really get into this, because they know this area better than me, better than you. They live there. They go into this forest all the time and they see these things. They would know where these lights are coming from if it was just car lights. And that's what really... Oh, it's annoying. I want to suggest that this is the spot where the lights are going. You would need to take a car out. You would need to do a full experiment with a car and have someone in the forest and be in constant contact and be able to say, but that's a lot of trees to go through, and I don't think in the dead zone, even if you removed all of the trees, you couldn't see this spot. You couldn't see this spot. It's too low down. I'm not saying it's paranormal, but the lights from the dead zone, I'm not sure. Definitely the one that I saw, I didn't see, over my shoulder. That was even harder to explain because that's deep in the forest and there's nothing but forest behind it. Next I want to talk about the EMF meter. Yes, that's got me as well because there was 3 spikes in there. The phone's on flight mode. It's not coming from the phone. It's not cell site. It's not Wi-Fi. It's not overhead power. There's no mains out there. Those spikes that came through, I can't explain that. I'm not saying it's paranormal. I'm just saying I don't know what the explanation is. If it was in a building, if I was in a, somewhere, a museum or somewhere, I would just say there could be mains or there could be something, there could be cables somewhere, but not in the middle of a forest. I don't know what caused that. That was weird. Not saying it's paranormal, just saying it's weird. The strange interference that I was getting, I say strange, the very, very strong interference coming through whenever I lifted my phone out of my pocket. Okay, I think that could be down to maybe Romania's infrastructure. It's very outdated. Just take a train in Romania. I was out there for 2 weeks. Not one of my trains arrived within an hour of its departure time. Because the transport network out there is so behind the rest of Europe. Are we talking about a cell site tower, a phone mast that's just using 20, 30-year-old technology that's just not been updated and the phones are struggling to connect to it? I don't know. Maybe. I've been in lots of forests over the years doing this and my phone has never struggled to connect to GPS or to the internet, basically. And we're not in the middle of nowhere. You're on the outskirts of civilization. You're not in the remote parts of the world. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of foliage, a lot of trees. I don't know. I'm not saying that's paranormal. I think a lot of people do go out there and they have problems with the GPS, but I just think it could be Romania having infrastructure that's just very old. That's my explanation.
It's not what I'm saying it is, but that's what in my head I think it is. So what do I think of the Hoia Baciu Forest? If you're a paranormal investigator that loves going out to explore places like this, go to it. It's fun. I went on my own. I stayed in an Airbnb on the outskirts of the forest. I'm sure if you go on Airbnb and have a look, you'll find it. Beautiful place. It's an incredible place. You'll have fun. Do I think it's haunted? Do I believe the legends that are linked to it? I'm not sure. Are people having genuine paranormal experiences out there, or is this a case of people have got this image in their head that they're in a really haunted forest and it plays on their mind? Everything you hear. There's the Screaming Woman, for example. There's forests in the UK where I've heard something scream really loud, and it's probably a bird. It's probably wildlife. People say they hear horses galloping in the forest. There's a stables. You walk past the stables. There's a horse riding school within half a mile of the Hoia Baciu Forest. These are just things that to bear in mind. I'm not saying that's what it is, but things to bear in mind. Anyone else that's a paranormal investigator that wants to go out there and experience this place for themselves, do it. Get a cheap flight from the UK, if you're going from the UK, Wizz Air, straight into Cluj-Napoca, Hoia Baciu. It's a few miles further on.
If you like this video, please like and subscribe to the Dead Air channel, where there are lots of paranormal investigations on there that you can browse through. Thank you for watching.